Hi, this is Pilgramo and welcome to my channel. As we celebrate All Saints Day, let me share with you some quotations from my favorite saints. Let me start with Saint John Bosco. He said, "Do your ordinary duties extraordinarily well." As a Bosconian myself, I've always seen this quotation in our gymnasium when I was growing up. So we were actually surrounded by different quotations of Don Bosco, and this particular quotation is one of the most prominent ones, and we were always encouraged to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. There was a story when a certain student of his, Dominic Savio, was trying to put stones on his bed so that he would suffer, and when there is suffering, he can offer something to God. When Don Bosco found out that Dominic was doing this, he talked to Dominic and asked why was he doing it. Dominic Savio answered, "Because I want to become a saint." It was then that I recalled that Don Bosco said to Dominic Savio that in order to become a saint, you just have to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. At sa aming mga Bosconian, tumatak yun sa isip namin. And in as much as the things that you are doing right now, you can actually do it extraordinarily well and offer it to God. So that's a quote from Saint John Bosco. He is also known as the father and teacher of the young. Another favorite saint of mine, Saint Thomas Aquinas. Of course, Saint Thomas Aquinas is the patron saint of one of the biggest and oldest universities in Asia and in the world, the University of Santo Tomas. For Saint Thomas Aquinas, the quotation is, "For one who has faith, no explanation is necessary, and to one without faith, no explanation is possible." Saint Thomas Aquinas was one of the most popular Dominican saints. This particular quotation tells us that if you have faith, sometimes you do not need explanation. And for those people who keep on questioning their faith, sometimes the explanation might not be heard, or they will not accept the explanation. It doesn't mean that you cannot ask about your faith. One of the most important things that I learned is that it's okay to ask questions about your faith, because in that way you can better understand what you are believing and what you are adhering to. I realize now that I'm getting old that some people will not accept whatever explanation there is about faith, and it is okay. So what I do is just to pray for God's guidance for them. And God works better than me. So probably God will actually do things in order to enlighten the person who keeps on doubting his faith. So again, that is a quote from Saint Thomas Aquinas. For Saint John Baptist de La Salle, he said that to touch the hearts of your students is the greatest miracle you can perform. He is, after all, the patron saint of teachers. He founded a congregation of brothers who will be teaching the poor children of France. At that time, there was no classroom set up. At that time, education was only for the rich. It was only on a tutorial basis, and a lot of people cannot afford education. Saint John Baptist de La Salle was a priest, and he thought that there's a need for educating the poor people. And he founded the Lasallian Brothers, or the Brothers of the Christian Schools. He established this congregation in order to educate the poor people of France. And because of him, the classroom setup was actually realized. And because of the classroom setup, a lot of students were educated, even those who cannot afford education. Saint John Baptist de La Salle became the patron saint of teachers because he instituted this education system when it was not yet the norm. We owe it to Saint John Baptist de La Salle, the education that we have, because it was revolutionary during his time. His main aim is to uplift the lives of these people through education. Until now, Saint John Baptist de La Salle is very relevant as education becomes the great equalizer. Saint John Baptist de La Salle inspired his teachers to teach the minds, touch the hearts, and transform the lives of their students. And if the teachers have done this, they have actually performed miracles. So that's Saint John Baptist de La Salle, patron saint of teachers. Saint Benedict is the patron saint of Europe. And one of his famous quotes is, "Listen with the ear of your heart." This was actually included in the rule of Saint Benedict. Any Benedictine school like Saint Scholastica or San Beda have always espoused this particular rule of Saint Benedict. Sa kanila rin nanggaling ang ora et labora, or prayer and work. Every work that you do is a form of prayer as long as you offer it for the glory of God. Listen with the ear of your heart. It only means that you have to use your heart in listening to whatever rules that are set before you. That every rule has a reason for you to be a better person. It also connotes that you have to look beyond what is physical, what is tangible, and what is the obvious. You have to look beyond it. You have to listen with the ear of your heart. You have to read between the lines. Just like anything, dapat maramdaman mo rin kung ano yung gustong ipaiwatig sa'yo. Hindi mo lang napakinggan, pero naramdaman mo. Listen with the ear of your heart. Listen also with the ear of your heart is saying that use your heart. Whatever the words are, you have to look beyond the words. You have to see the essence of what is being said. So yung mga, albawa, the rule of Saint Benedict, it may be rules that for some people, they do not want to follow or probably hard to follow. But when you listen with the ear of your heart, every rule that is in the rule of Saint Benedict will be good for you. Or good for those who will follow Saint Benedict. I have a lot of favorite saints, but I'm ending this vlog with my fifth saint, Saint Francis of Assisi. And his quote is, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love." And you are very familiar with this because if you are a Catholic and you've been going to masses, you have sung this song, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace." This is very relevant in anything that you do right now, in any situation. Be an instrument of peace. Especially when there are conflicts in your office, in your school, in your family, in your friendships. You have to be an instrument of peace. It's a very powerful quote. It is one of the most popular ones from Saint Francis of Assisi because in this world, peace sometimes is elusive. Saint Francis of Assisi is one of the most popular saints because he espouses peace, love for nature, love for other creatures. And this love for others is his way of peace. Sabi nga nila, di ba, it's better to be kind than to be right sometimes. Sometimes you have to let go of certain arguments or choose your battles because you know that peace is more important. Peace. Even though it's elusive, even though it's hard to attain, we have to aspire for it every day. Sabi niya nga rin, when there is hatred, let me sow love. Instead of espousing hatred or anger, probably we can suggest how to make things better and show our love to others. You can apply this in any situation you are in that involves conflict. So remember, let us be instruments of peace. Papalapit na naman ang All Saints Day, and I would just like to focus on this vlog that anyone can become saints. Hindi ko alam kung kaya ko pang maging saint. Sarami rin yung mga kasalanang nagawa ko, but these particular saints are also sinners as well. But they try to be good, they recognize the grace of God in them, and they try to do good no matter how sinful and weak they are. And I think that is the mark of a true saint. You recognize your weakness, you know your flaws, but you try every day to make things better for others, to make things better for yourself. That even though you have sinned, even though you commit sins every now and then, there is always an attempt to follow the will of God and to serve Him and to love Him. So perfect bang mga tao ang santo? Siguro, perfect yung mga naging decision nila at that time when it was needed the most. And even though they have their own flaws because they are humans, just like us, they have rose above these weaknesses and they have tried to do good and they have tried to follow God's word in their lives. Eh di ba ganun naman ang maganda sa buhay? But try lang tayo ng try. So kung feeling natin napakasama natin tao, eh di magkumpisal tayo. Eh di buguin natin ang sarili natin. Huwag tayong magsawang gumawa ng mabuti at ialay ito sa Diyos. When we celebrate All Saints Day, we are celebrating all those people who have done the will of God. They may not even be declared as saints yet, but we know that they are saints in our lives. Discover something nice sa Pinas, something nice sa buhay, something nice sa mga saints na paborito nyo, something nice sa mga saints na hindi pa nade-declare, pero nasa heaven na, mga kamag-anak siguro natin, mga kaibigan siguro natin. Like and subscribe, Programa channel, and click the notification bell. God bless you.